are. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode of Scientology Stories. And as it has been regularly for the last two episodes, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Claire.
Howdy, hey. Happy daylight savings to everybody.
Yeah. Happy jump forward day.
Yeah, spring forward. Have we sprung forward? I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I hate daylight savings.
Me
In the
too.
Sea Org,
It was the worst.
it was the worst. You get maybe you get like 4 or 5 hours of sleep on a really good night. You get 4 or 5 hours, and then that's it. We're losing an hour, and you're just like, why?
When you go from 4 to 3, 4 hours to 3 hours, that's a significant jump. That's not just like, oh, I wish I could have stayed in bed an extra 5 minutes. That's brutal.
You know, not a lot of people know this. I'm going to get off and over it right now.
Oh,
but
God. Spare me.
sometimes Claire and I would get home so late. Like we would get home at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'd have to get up at 7 to go in at 8. Or 7:30 to go in at 7:45.
And I had to get up at 8 to go in at 9. So it wasn't much difference for me.
Yeah. So we would literally get home, maybe, let's say I got home at 4, she got home at 4:30, and then I'd be like, you want to watch a movie? I'll cook up with some ramen and we'll watch a movie. We would just have some ramen, watch a movie, and just go take a shower and go back to work. Because you're not gonna, it's worse when you go to sleep and you have to get up like in 2 hours. It's just like by the time I fall asleep, it's gonna be time to wake up, basically.
But hold on, if you're gonna say that, you have to break it down a little. First of all, we weren't supposed to have a TV, but we did.
That's right.
Most TVs had been confiscated multiple times, but we just kind of covered ours with a blanket or something like that, right?
It was a plant holder.
Yeah.
That turned into a TV.
Yeah, and we had it unplugged so that if anyone ever came and inspected it, looked like we never used it. So that was the rebel in you. And then in addition to that, nobody had access to movies except you worked in the cine area. So
and systems.
Right. So you did have access to movies. Because I remember when you told me one day,
oh,
what movies would you want to watch? I'm like, are you for real? Like any movies? And you were like, yeah, absolutely. Just tell me what movies you want to watch. And I was like, what?
Because I was the pre-production director and I was over the research department, they had to get as many movies as possible into their library because sometimes when there's a really famous movie star there at the property and he says, oh, can you get this movie? And we don't have it. We look like knuckleheads. So there was this brand new thing that came out. It was called Netflix. And I was one of the very first people to set up an account in Scientology. And I had it on the 9 DVD plan. And so we were just getting DVDs in nonstop. And the research department, hey, this was them. This wasn't me. I got the movies. That's all. I was the supplier. They would copy them. We had a DVD copy machine, and they just put it in the copy machine and they copied the movie. And they made I think they made like 5 copies at one time. And then they would put that in all the different libraries and everything. And they'd send a copy up to Department 21. So that's David Miscavige, Captain Davy of the fake Navy.
Uh-huh.
And they would send up a copy to his office, and there was a research library, and then there was a thing called the Cine Library. And anyway, we didn't start the show. We got to start the show. We got like, hey, where are you coming from today?
Okay, well, you're the one that got us all distracted.
I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying. I'm just pointing out.
Likely story.
Look at this.
Okay.
Today's word is Innie. And if you guys haven't seen this show, Severance, we'll kind of set it up. We'll explain it. But if you want to enter into the free giveaway for today, just type hashtag INNIE, Innie.
If you know, you know.
And that enters you into win whatever giveaway we have for today, or whatever giveaway you want, I guess. Whatever it works. We're giving something away. It's going to be whatever you want it to be. Yeah. From the Blown for Good merch store. So that's going on. What else is happening? What else happened? Anything exciting happened this week?
Not really. We were going to pop up and see where people are joining us from.
Okay.
Pop up some comments.
Perfect. Good idea. Okay. So let me get this banner thing off of here. So we can do the comments without all this scrolly stuff.
Yep.
Look, you read them. Okay. And I'll
Okay.
just pop them up.
Yep. Voracious Reater. Astoria, Queens. Thank you for joining us. Hello from Pennsylvania. Awesome. West Texas. Nice. It's all a bit culty. Valerie. There you go. Lupita. Lupita has some great input on our topic for today.
Amazing.
Pete Jensen from Los Angeles. Yeah, Lupita, don't stop. We love everything that you're bringing up. This is going to be an amazing conversation. The only problem is we're not going to be able to cover it all. So Lupita from Texas. There we go. Awesome.
So sorry. There's so many.
West Virginia, I saw. We did that one.
Yeah.
Northern California, near Shelley. Dean Johnson. Awesome. Oh, Copenhagen. Nice. Hello from Jax, Florida. Casey in the house. Hello from Chester, UK. Nice. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Awesome. Berkshire, England. Nice. Becky. Hello from Ontario, Canada. Nice. Thanks for joining us. Haverhill, Massachusetts. Helen. Yay. Good to see you here. Sunny Southern Utah. Nice.
Nice.
Awesome. And we did that one.
Awesome.
Pennsylvania.
Cool.
Nice. There you go.
Well, those
Awesome.
are all the ones that start. If you got, oh, here we go. There's more. I'm going live.
From Detroit.
I'm going live. Do it live.
Okay. Louisiana. Nice. Awesome. And Copenhagen. Very cool.
Nice. Very cool. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. We have a lot of people that watch from all over the world. And that is why we do this show at this time. I know it's a little early in Australia, but pretty much everywhere else where we have a lot of viewers, if we do it at this time, this is kind of like the most popular time per YouTube. It tells us when people are watching on certain days. And today, in the middle of the day on a Sunday, is the best time for everybody, including us, because we have work and we have everything else. That's the other thing I was going to say. I've been out of town for like, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 weeks in about as many states. And so Claire did a really nice thing for me right after last week's video. She booked me a massage, and it was at one of these frou-frou places. Like somebody got her a gift for this place, and then she got me one. Anyway,
like any loving wife would do, honey.
Yeah. Anyway, so I go to this place, and I hadn't really eaten anything. I don't eat until dinner time each day. I have a coffee in the morning, and then I have a water for lunch, and then I have dinner, and that's it. And I'm not supposed to eat anything else. Otherwise, I turn into, they had to butter my hips to pop me through doorways and stuff, and it's too much. Anyway, I go to this massage place, and it's very fancy dancy, and the gal's leading me to the, like, I guess the lockers or something. And she says, do you want a drink or something? And I go, oh yeah, because these gals, they're doing mimosas and whatever, sparkling water. I'm like, no, I'm good. And I'm hungry though. I was thinking about it on the way over there. Anyway.
Because it's already like 3 o'clock in the afternoon by now.
Yeah, it's late. And I'm kind of like, oh man, I'm a little hungry. Anyway, your brain plays tricks on you, because she said, do you want something to drink? And then I go, no, I'm fine. And then she goes, would you like a Reuben sandwich? And I thought to myself, there's no way they're cooking up sandwiches in this joint and right before the massage. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. My brain is thinking this, but then my brain's also like, I'm not a Reuben guy, but I would do a BLT like all day long. Anyway, so I say, my brain is not comprehending this, right? So I know not to trust it. And whenever somebody says something and I don't get it, I say, the who? That's my thing. Whatever. I've done that my whole life. The who? No matter what it is. Anyway, so she says, would you like a Reuben sandwich? I think about all this and I go, the who? And then I'm thinking, I really want to say no, but I'll take a BLT. But then I don't. I stop myself. I put my filter in, which is rare for me. Anyway, and then I said, the who? And she says, would you like a robe and sandals? And I go, oh, a robe and sandals. I literally said it out loud like that. Oh, a robe and sandals. And I thought, oh my gosh, I got to just eat a sandwich, man. Anyway,
Thank God you didn't
I
ask for
know
that
I would have got
BLT.
really
Oh my
embarrassed.
goodness.
Can you imagine if I would have said that? She said, "Would you like a robe and sandals?" I
I
said,
would've-
"No, but
I
I'll have a
would've paid-
BLT."
I would have paid good.
No,
I would have paid really good money to see the look on her face.
no, but I'll have a BLT. Maybe
What?
a
What are you-
Moscow
What are you going to do
Mule.
with that BLT as opposed to robe and sandals, sir?
Yeah, could you imagine? Oh my God, that would have been the worst. I could have never gone back there ever again. That would have been the
sure.
story at the place.
Yeah.
Since one dude came in last week, he asked for a BLT right before his massage.
Instead of a robe.
Yeah. So that's how you know it's been a long month.
Yeah,
You know, your brain
it
is
really
like
has.
playing tricks.
Yeah. And by the way, we said that we would be trying to get back at least once a week. But I do need to submit my completed staff work to you, honey, that I will be absent next week.
That's okay. We'll go rogue next week. Just me in the chat. Do it, live it up.
All right.
We'll just do a Q&A for an hour.
There you go. Perfect. That'll be
okay.
fun.
We did the banner, right? We did the thing. You
Yeah.
got to put your thing in. We'll do that at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to explain? So I'll just set it up because she's actually watched the show, like she's really into the show. I watched the first season, and after one season, I was like, this is too much. Like it was too crazily like I was doing this for 15 years. Like that's how it was for me. I don't really get kind of triggered by anything. I don't really care. I'm kind of easy, whatever.
Yeah.
But this thing really kind of bothered me. And the show is called Severance. It's on Apple TV. And it's basically about this company, and they put a little chip in people's heads. And when they go to work, they only know about work. They don't know about their other life. It's like another hard drive that they don't have access to when they're in work. And so, and they don't really know what they're doing. They're all siloed, and then when they go back in the elevator is where like the electronics are that trigger the chip, like an RFID thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And so when they go in the elevator and they get out to go out of the place, they turn back into their real self in the outside world. And they call that the outie. And then the person that's inside when you're at work, you're an innie.
Right.
Okay,
which is a completely separate person and personality. And obviously it goes without saying, if you haven't watched the show, we're absolutely going to spoiler alert. We're going to talk about this. So deep dive.
Yeah. So, but Claire watched, she's watched both seasons up. She's like caught up with the show wherever it's at in the second season. I only watched the first season, and then I'm like, I'm out. I'm good. I get it. This is a documentary about where I worked, basically. I don't need to know anymore. I know everything that's going to happen. And the crazy thing is that more in the second season, like if the first season was like, it's similar, and then somebody says, oh, I was in a cult, it was similar to my cult too. No, I'm telling you, in season 2, they stop pulling punches. They literally, there's all kinds of stuff. And so
it gets just absolutely crazy.
So just to set it up, so that's basically the show. And there's all kinds of other, you got to watch the show to understand some of the stuff. But if you've seen the show, we're going to tell you the things that are either stolen or based off of, I won't say
or
stolen,
inspired
or so similar that it's impossible it could be anything else. We're going to go through those things, and then Claire will have one and I'll have one. Like I've only seen the first season, but I've read a bunch of stuff about the show, and there's a ton of people. We're not the only people to notice this. There's a gazillion ex-Scientologists out there that are like, oh yeah, that's totally Scientology. Like just no question. It's Scientology. And, the thing I wanted to tell you though was in the Sea Org, and I'll just set up, that's the show. Now this is the Sea Org. You're there from 8 a.m. till midnight at least every single day. You don't have any outside life at all. And you're not allowed to talk about stuff. You're not allowed to talk about Xenu and body thetans and And you're not allowed to talk about anything in your own counseling to anyone else, period.
Yeah.
Um,
Even going so far as your outie is not even allowed to tell your family necessarily what you do, who you interact with, where we even physically worked. Like our families did not know physically where we worked for 14 years.
Yeah, we would send everything from a Hollywood address, and they would send everything to a Hollywood address, 6331 Hollywood Boulevard, Hollywood, California, 90028.
Or 1710 Ivar Avenue,
Or
Suite
if you were,
1700.
if you worked in RTC, your office was on the other side of the building. So one street was on Hollywood Boulevard, and the other street was on Ivar. If you worked in RTC, then your address was on Ivar. And if you worked in Golden Era Productions, your address was on Hollywood Boulevard. Like it was a different place. It was the same exact building. And the mail all went to the exact same door on Ivar. Yeah. Anyway.
And it went in the same van to the same property where
it was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
But you don't, in the Sea Org, this is the only thing that I will say. In the Sea Org, you're the only thing you are is the innie. There is no outie. Mm-hmm. You're only an innie. And maybe 1 or 2 days a year when you would go and see your family, you would be an outie. So the show is the same, except it's split like half and half. In the Sea Org, it's like 99%/1. That's it. Yeah. You don't live. Most Sea Org members at the internet, and let me preface this also by saying at the international headquarters, because at the international headquarters, you weren't going anywhere to see your friends on the weekends. You were there 365 days a year, 7 days a week. And I say 8 to midnight. That's if you are doing an 8 to midnight every day in the Sea Org, you're basically a slacker. Like you're like you're a nobody worker bee Sea Org member. You're not one of the movers and shakers Sea Org members that are like staying up 2-3 nights a week, going home at 4, coming in at 7. So there was different, even at this place, there were plenty of Sea Org members that would do that. They would just come in at breakfast and leave it on the 11 o'clock bus. And that's what they did. And everybody knew who those guys were.
Right. And also there was the very firm no fraternizing rule. So it's not like you ever would be like, oh, hey, how's it going? Chit chat. None of that.
Yeah, there's no like, hey, you want to come over and party on Saturday? No. If you basically anything that you did, like it was the outside world, like if you did something, it would be, they had a word for it. It was like being a wog. And I know in some places wog's a bad word. In the Sea organization or in Scientology, it just means somebody who's not in Scientology.
Which I think was intentional by Hubbard to take a bad word and turn it into something that Scientologists just rolls off their tongue without even thinking about it.
Totally. Yeah. That makes sense. That's I never thought about it like that. But yeah, he turned a bad word into a bad word in Scientology.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you were doing 100 hours, 120 hours a week as a Sea Org member, that was normal. And so it's like you're always the innie. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Anyway.
And your ability to even interact with people in the outside world just deteriorates as a result of that. Like you're become more and more scripted to what you're allowed to say to your family.
Totally.
All that stuff.
Totally. We have you actually get trained in the Sea organization on what the shore stories are. Mm-hmm. So we're at sea and we're doing a secret mission. And when we go to land, we have to have a shore story for the locals. So when they ask us questions and stuff, we just go, oh yeah, we do it's so funny now that I think about it. We produce all of the media and print and publications and materials for Scientology worldwide. And you're just like, okay. And so then when somebody asks you, that's the story. And that was actually the story for no matter where you worked at the international base. Even if you were in Religious Technology Center, you were part of the studios, you were part of the media production, you were part of, or if you worked in international management, we do all the promotion for Scientology internationally. Whatever it was some variation of this shore story. if you went into town and somebody at Walmart was like, hey, where do you work at that Scientology place?
Right.
What are they doing up in there?
Is it true you have machine guns in the golf course?
That was the biggest thing. Is it true there's machine guns in that main booth on the highway? You guys shooting guns at people? Anyway, it was wild. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess how we'll do this. You can say one and then I'll say one and we'll just go back and forth. And we will at the end, when we get near the end of this. Are we still live? Is anybody hearing us?
Testing.
Are we on?
Are you there?
If we get to the end, we'll do the giveaway. And if you guys have some really good comments or questions, we'll try to put them up. And if there's something we didn't answer, then we'll say too. And there's other ex-Sea Org members in the comments, and they're answering people's questions. Catherine's in there. If you are watching and you have answers or you have something, get in the comments. We're all here. We're live. We're doing this right now. There's no other, just so you guys know, do I have this other thing? There's no other buddy here. It's just me and Claire. This is the whole show. Okay.
What you see is what you get.
There's no, I'm doing the video and the audio and the mixing and all this, the live and the banner. And that's it. And there's a few people helping us in the background. We got Clara and Catherine in here doing the work. But yeah, it's just us. Okay. There's no big production happening behind here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I just saw this thing. What a horrific way to live. Yeah. So that'll be the last thing. And then we'll tell Claire to start telling one. I worked there from 1989. I worked in Los Angeles, and then I moved to the international base early 1990. And I was there from 1990 to January 2005. So 15 years, 89 to 2005, 15 years. And then how long were you there, babe?
Oh, gosh. Well, I was born into Scientology. I was in the Sea Org from 4 to 10. I was at the headquarters from 91 until 2005.
That's what I'm asking her. She's like telling me all these.
Well, I know, but it's part of my story that's different than yours.
I know, but just tell me how long you were in Innie. Okay. I don't need to know about the warm-up Innie.
Sure.
Okay. So that's a long time.
It is. Yeah.
For both of us. That's so, and like she said, she was born into it. I grew up in it. So we were basically in Scientology our whole lives.
Yeah.
But the Sea organization was about 15 years for me and 13 years for you, right?
Yeah.
13 and change.
Not counting the cadet org, but 30 years.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's
and the cadet org. Oh,
that's why it was relevant, honey.
Yeah, I get it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know what? It's funny.
I forgot about she was in the Sea Org when she was a little baby. That, sucks to suck, dude.
Say it, honey. Just say it.
You're right.
Boom. Skadoosh. But also, I think it's important in the context of what we're talking about today, because it occurred to me while you were talking. The longer we were innies, the harder it was to consider being an outie.
100%. And this is purpose. This was deliberate.
Yes.
So
planned.
You are in a bubble and you don't know what goes on outside the bubble. You don't know how to get a job. You don't have a bank account. You don't have a driver's license. You don't have a high school diploma. You don't have anything. And they make you know that. Like if you leave, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? You're going to live with your parents? You're going to will they even let you, it's like, there's nothing for you to go do. So
in our case, our parents would have just turned us back in.
Yeah. They would have, if they knew where we were, they would have turned us in.
Yeah. I mean, my mother did that to my uncle, right. Frank O'Sullivan, who works at St. Hill, escaped.
That's right.
And my mother tracked him down, found out that he was with my uncle, who was never in Scientology, and turned him in, and he got drugged back, and he's still there to this day. It's really sad.
That's why it's called blown for good, because when people blow, there's people that have blown the Sea organization 9 times and they've gotten them back 9 times. So crazy. Okay. You do an example. What's your first?
Okay. And so I think for context, mine is in no particular sequence of importance. But, and again, we've talked about what the show is about and the context of it. Even from the very first scene of season 1, where you have this woman laying on the table and she's just gone through the severance procedure. So she's in a conference room, laying on the table, face down, unconscious, and then kind of comes to. And this voice comes out of nowhere and says, "Hey, you on the table, who are you?" Which, and again, watching this from the perspective of, so in Scientology, there's the ethics conditions. And when you're in a lower condition, meaning you're not performing, you've been misbehaving, you're a non-believer, you're showing your true colors, whatever variation of that. One of the lower conditions is the condition of enemy, which is find out who you really are.
Yeah. It's wild. That's a crazy, like, even if you just saw that, you would go like, that's weird, because it's one of the lower conditions. You have to find that out before you can move up. Okay. One of the things is they have this Kier guy who's like he's the founder. He's the source.
Kier Egan.
Kier
Yes.
Egan. And they have pictures of him all over the place, and they have busts of him, and everything that he said is the gospel, and they commit things that he said to memory and memorize it, and just sayings about dumb stuff. And
it's part of their everyday language. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just like, oh, I don't know. It's just like, oh,
it's like when in Scientology, whenever you give, they have this thing called a success story, and you have to go and you have to, whenever you finish a course or you complete counseling, you have to write a success story. And it's basically you signing off that everything you did, you wanted to do, and then you had a great time doing it. And so if ever in the future you're like, I hated this place and it sucked, and you're like, well, then why did you write all these glowing reviews every 3 weeks of your entire career about everything you were doing? But
which, by the way, is not even a theoretical example. That's what they did during our lawsuit.
Yes,
they were like,
in our lawsuit,
read your success story that you wrote when you were 14 years old.
Yeah, but the thing is in order to complete anything, you have to write a success story, and you have to give this glowing review. And at the end of it, you always say, thank you to L. Ron Hubbard and thank you to David Miscavige. It's expected that you write this, and it's a glowing review, and then you thank these people. But it's just something you're always, if you don't know what to do in life, they have a thing, what would Ella Rach do? And it's a thing you're supposed to think about. That's your mantra. Oh, I don't know what to do. What would Ella Rach do? And so they have all these little things. So they have in the Severance, it's basically they're doing all that stuff. So to me, that was just like, I don't know, man. And by the way, I've seen about 4 other cults being like, oh, this is about my cult. So it might just be a cult thing.
Yeah.
And Scientology has got so much of this stuff that they had just a wealth of information to pull from.
Yeah, perhaps it's satire of cults in general, but
Sure.
Certainly Scientology, I think anyone would agree, if you were to rate how culty is my cult, that I escaped from, it's pretty high up there on the scale.
It totally is. And another funny thing is that Ben Stiller is the director. He's the main guy running this show. And he's punked on Tom Cruise in the past. And I think Tom Cruise and him are actually friendly, and they've done stuff together. And so it's kind of a crazy thing. It's like Paul Thomas Anderson shooting a movie, maybe Tom Cruise's best movie, Magnolia, his best acting performance, arguably one of the best, with Paul Thomas Anderson, and then getting to know Paul Thomas Anderson and becoming very friendly. And then Paul Thomas Anderson directing The Master, the movie with, I can't remember the guy's name, Colonel Dodd or whatever, the Phyllis Seymour.
That was so good.
Phyllis Seymour Hoffman character.
Yeah.
But to me, it's kind of like that. And also in Hollywood, everybody knows Scientologists. And if you're in Hollywood and you're in the business, there's a lot of Scientologists that got their fingers in all kinds of little pies. You got the Mescamins, and you had the Mastersons, and the Tom Cruise and John Travolta. So there's a lot of people that are Scientology adjacent. So you do have a lot of actors and actresses in Hollywood that are getting into Scientology. They're doing courses, they're networking, they're trying to get jobs, they're trying to get a commercial, they're trying to get a Kelly Daniels, man. If you do Kelly Daniels course, you're going to get a Tide commercial next week, man. Residuals. There's in Hollywood, it's all about getting a credit. It doesn't matter what it is. You just need a credit. Can I get a producer credit? Can I get a acting credit? Can I get a writing credit? Can I get, they want, it's a main commodity in Hollywood that you got to get something to put on your resume, because that's how you're going to get another something. And then hopefully if you get X amount of somethings, then you get a big something. It's a crazy world.
Mm-hmm.
And Scientology, they feed right into that. They are so tapped into the, I don't know what you call it, transactional relationships. And if you do this, then I'll do that. And it's with the police, and it's with the writers and the directors and the actors. And they have
and the politicians,
Adam Schiff and Karen Bass, and whoever the latest person is. They totally work it, and they do it in such a crazy way. So the fact that they're doing this show, and you almost know it's dunking on Scientology.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible. Even more so, like you said, you haven't seen season 2, and we won't spoil everything in terms of going deep dive, because we don't have time anyway. But even more so, I mean, it's just, there's no way you could not see the many parallels and the many examples. But also, I just think that some of the way that Severance really shows you the layers and the mental numbing, like, of just looking away from things that you're like, wait, what?
Totally.
You do what?
Like when they had the clay, I was like, clay? I was like,
Yeah.
In Scientology, whenever you do a course, there's probably, I don't know, every 5 or 6 different actions. You have to read something, you have to demonstrate something with what's called a demonstration kit, a demo kit. And then every once in a while, you have to clay demo a concept, and you have to make little people, and somebody has to come up to your concept and look at it and say the concept. So you can't just phone it in. You got to really make a picture in your mind and then visualize that and model that in clay. And it's called a clay demo.
Yeah.
And it's everyone in Scientology, if you've been in for 5 days or 5 years, you've done some clay demos. And you get clay all over your hands, and it's just a giant nightmare. Thank goodness for baby wipes. When baby wipes came out, clay demos were revolutionized, because you could clean up after yourself very well with clay.
Yeah. And by the way, just to be clear, it could not be plasticine. That was forbidden by Hubbard. It had to be actual clay.
Yeah, there's an entire
or Play-Doh. It couldn't be Play-Doh. It couldn't be anything that's easy to work with. It had to be clay.
Yeah, modeling clay.
If it was cold, if the clay was cold, then it was going to take you twice as long to do your clay demo.
It's so funny that you say cold, because at the international base, it's in the desert, right? So we had 2 types of clay demos. We had, oh my God, you're beating the clay with a hammer. There was actually hammers and rolling pins at the clay table, so you could work the clay. And then that was in the winter. It was just literally, it's like 25 degrees out, and you're out. The clay demo area was outside and it had a patio over it.
That's right.
In the old qual.
Yes.
So you would be outside, basically in an outdoor patio, and it's 25 degrees, and it would take you 3 hours to do something which should probably take you 5 minutes anyway. And then the other one was in August. You just come out, and sometimes if you do a clay demo, sometimes a clay demo could take you like 5 or 6 hours. The study period's only 2.5 hours a day. So you'd have to start, you could be reading something and And then like a half an hour before course is over, you would go from 7 to 10:30. That's when course was every day. 7 p.m. to 10:30 at night. Because why not study the founders' sacred knowledge when you're dead, tired, and ready to go to sleep? Anyway, that's when study time was, because that's when people are least productive. And also, half the people are sleeping in the course room in these places too. Anyway, you're doing a clay demo.
Truth.
And you start like a half an hour before you got to go. And then you leave it there. It's like 10 o'clock at night. It's cold. It's a little cold. It's fine. Well, tomorrow it's going to be 120. And you come to course the next night, and there's just a pool where this thing you spent a half an hour putting together, it's just a pool of clay. You're like, gotta do that again.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's mine. That's clay. What do you got?
Okay, so and I just wanted to tap in again and comment about Kier Egan. So first of all, like
we're gonna get through like 3 things.
That's what I said, but you know, and this is not my point, by the way. So this doesn't count for my turn. I just wanted to say, obviously, first of all, Kier Egan, it's an unusual name, as is Lafayette Ronald Hubbard. Second of all, one of the first scenes when the Innie is arriving to work, you see the giant bust of Kier, or the giant diagram or picture of Kier Egan in the lobby, and then there's busts, which of course there's. I mean, I've been looking at busts of L. Ron Hubbard since I was 6, and even when I was little, I was like, that dude is kind of ugly, like, well, his nose and his mouth. And I was just like, why do they have these things everywhere?
It's a policy. I think there has to be a bust in every single Scientology organization that exists. There has to be a bust.
And there has to be an office for L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah. And usually the bust is outside the office or something like that. Or sometimes they're in the office. I don't know. But there has to be a bust, and there has to be an L. Ron Hubbard office in every single Scientology organization.
And it's always roped off. Nobody can go in there.
Yeah, it's got a red velvet rope across the door, and you look in there, and there's an e-meter set up at his desk, and a typewriter over here, and his books, and all his new material, and you're just like, and that's in every single place. And you know that's part of their scam. Whenever they come out with new materials, every organization has to buy a new set just for his office. It's like there's a constant circular money thing. Okay, well, you burned your thing.
No, I didn't.
No, you burned your thing.
No, so back onto surveys. We were going to talk about the use of surveys in Severance. So again, back to the woman is laying on the table. It's Helly. Helly is her name. And the voice again comes out of nowhere and says, I wondered if you'd mind taking a brief survey. And again, it just was a flashback for me to as you said, but at the end of each course, you'd be asked, would you want someone else to have the knowledge you now have? Like that exact question, exactly as I said it, is dictated by L. Ron Hubbard. Or the alternate version is, would you want someone else to have similar gains to yours?
Yeah.
Like seriously. Surveys all the time. Anyway, that's my one.
Okay, good. Well, I get to do a follow-up on your one.
Sure.
Because you did a follow-up on my one.
Fair.
Okay. So whenever Scientology is starting in a new area, or they're trying to do something, they do surveys. They hire companies to do surveys. They do their own surveys. They have people that have clipboards that are out on the street asking questions. And they have this, and it's actually called the Survey Network. And so they have people everywhere in the world, and their job is to do surveys. I don't know if it's a big thing now. It used to be huge in the 80s and in the 90s, and they would use these people, and so international management would say, we want to know about this. What do the public, that's what they refer to as basically potential new Scientologists, the public, or people that are going to give them money. They refer to those people as the public. And if it's not a Scientology kind of field where they have people that they're marketing to, they call those people raw public. Not they're public, but they're raw public. And that's somebody who doesn't know about Scientology. And so they have raw public surveys and they have public surveys. And they ask all these questions, and then they get all these answers back, and then they go, okay, we did. And this is L. Ron Hubbard was super hardcore into surveys. He just talked about surveys nonstop. And so the idea was, if you know what the people want, then you can tailor your marketing to that exact thing, to the buttons. So the buttons that the people have. So the button that comes up with is, people want to know, what is Scientology? And so then they do ads that they say, what is Scientology? And then they're going to tell you what it is. And I do the Jason voice because Jason did a lot of voiceovers, and he would say, yes, you should do Scientology. If you don't know that, I'm talking about Jason Begay from Chicago PD. He was a big time Sino when we were there. Anyway, so L. Ron Hubbard really was hardcore on the surveys, and they do surveys in there. Okay, that was a lot for a follow-up, but
yeah, it was.
Okay, break room.
Oh my God.
So in Severance, they have this thing called the break room,
AKA Department 3, AKA the ethics office.
Yeah. So in the break room, they basically just get interrogated, and they record it as well. And it's sort of a confessional type of interrogation. So just like Scientology has this thing called a security check, and they have a thing called an interrogation, and they have a thing called an ethics interview. And they're all kind of just a cousin of the other. And they're recorded on video and audio. Actually, a lot of people don't know this. If you're in a Scientology organization that's a new one, every single counseling session is recorded on audio and video in the world. It doesn't matter if you're Tom Cruise or if you're Billy Bob from Kentucky. Your sessions, your counseling sessions, your confessionals are all recorded, and they're digitally stored. I know because I set up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these rooms with cameras, 2 cameras, 1 microphone, and like basically a digital capture system that feeds to a server. Anyway, and so in Severance, they have this thing called the break room. It's literally identical. And as part of that, they have this thing called the woe meter. And you basically hold these 2 things in your hands, and this meter measures your responses while they're giving you an interrogation. Are you kidding me? Scientology has a thing called the E meter. And you hold 2 things in your hands, and the person asking the questions is running like a little control panel. It looks like an easy bake oven. I kid you not. Just Google easy bake oven and then Google Mark 8 quantum E meter, and you're going to see it. 2 easy bake ovens. So the similarity between the show and Scientology, like that. Okay. Even if you just said nothing else, like, oh yeah, we do clay in my cult. Oh, we worship the founder of my cult. Oh, we do surveys of do you have a freaking electronic meter that measures your responses while getting interrogated? If you do, let us know. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's one of those. If you do, you might be in Scientology. You are likely in Scientology.
Like for me, that's just like, oh, come on. Like, even up until that point, I was like, whatever. These are all just regular weird things.
Yeah. And they also talk about break room hacks too.
Totally. And that, you know what? That's the best thing ever. If you like, I'll just tell you, if you ever read my book, my break room hack is, I went to a Depeche Mode concert at the Rose Bowl. It was called Concert 101 from the Music for the Masses album. And I was front row center. This is pre-Sea Work. I was like 13, I guess. What was it? 13 or 14, whatever. It was a spiritual experience for me. Sacred. It was very sacred. Anyway, it rained during the song Sacred. That's a Depeche Mode song. It rained and then stopped raining. It was crazy. Anyway, I'm front row center for that. I'm a huge Depeche Mode fan, still am to this day. And so whenever I was getting a security check, getting interrogated, I would just think about that concert, and got through a lot of interrogations with no problemos. So that was sort of my go-to break room hack. Yeah. And that literally, like when I was in the deepest of deepest troubles, I was just like sailing through those interrogations. Yeah. And nobody could, like, literally, people would call me out like, dude, what the hell? And if they think you're doing break room hacks, if they think you're manipulating the meter or doing it,
Yeah.
they have a whole set of questions to smoke you out of that. So that if you're doing it, basically in Scientology, the deck of cards they give you the deck and then they make you build it. And so if you think you're in trouble, you're in trouble. If you think you're not in trouble, you're not in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And so as long as you fall for the bullshit, then they'll get you. But if you're just like, I know this is bullshit, we're playing a game and I'm going to play it with my rules, then it works fine. So break room hack.
Yeah. And also just to add on to the darkness of the break room scenes, they show how Mark Scout, the boss guy.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah, not Mark, not Mark Headley. Mark Scout was trying to protect Helly when she was rebelling and trying to escape and all this other stuff. So he basically said, "Oh no, it was my fault, my bad. I'll go to the break room instead of Helly." But then Helly ends up going anyway, and they have this whole dark, eerie scene where they have to say the same statement over and over and over again. And the ethics officer is like, "Nope, you didn't mean it. Not enough feeling." All this other stuff. Anyway, crazy. All right. So now it's my turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So the next one I'm going to talk about is the wellness room, the wellness sessions. And the spooky part about this is that the wellness counselor, Gemma, which what she called Miss Casey down there, I think they have different names too. She is actually the main guy's wife, who he thought died in a car accident.
Yeah.
So this is some kind of weird social experiment, and they haven't actually shown you what the end game is yet. But either way, they're kind of like studying the fact that Mark down Mark's Innie has no idea who Gemma is, none whatsoever. And the wellness, like the whole thing about the wellness break room. Hold on, let me find it real quick.
Well, I'm going to just say one thing while you're looking for that.
Yeah.
The other thing is, so there's a guy and a gal they're both in the real world together and they're both in the Severance world, but they don't know each other as in the Severance world as husband and wife, but they're married in the outside world. But in the inside world,
but she was killed in a car accident.
Well, but
that's the reason he chose to get severed, is to cut himself off from that grief.
Okay, good. But the thing is that they tell her that he's remarried and has kids, and they tell him that she died in a car accident. They're both alive. They're both fine.
Mm-hmm.
So in the outside world, she's dead to him, but then he's talking to her in the inside world.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't, she's not his wife in that world. So he doesn't know who she is. The crazy thing about this is that in Scientology, they do this thing where they split up couples. They send one to Kier, and then they have one at the international base or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then they tell the wife, "Oh, your husband wants a divorce." And then they tell the husband, "Oh, your wife wants a divorce." And then neither one of them wanted a divorce, but they tell each other that they want a divorce. And it's like, "Oh, screw you. I'm not going to see you again anyway. So, sucks to be you." And then when those people then get out of the Sea Org and then they meet back up and they're like, "Well, you want a divorce." It's like, no, you want a divorce. It's like,
mm-hmm.
What? And he's like, "I never wanted a divorce." Like, "Yeah, I never wanted a divorce." They do that. They do that in the Sea Org. And when that happens in the show, I'm just like, oh, another one. You're just like, really? Come on. Seriously. Yeah. Like, this is so wild.
Yep.
Anyway, the one last one, I think.
Well, hold on. We're not done with wellness. Remember?
No.
So there's also quotes everywhere. So even in the wellness like entrance lounge area, on the wall it says, "Tame thy tempers, let not weakness live in your veins." And they have this whole thing where they give the wellness counselor gives comments like, "Your outie loves to take a walk on the beach." And if there's any reaction, then they get points taken off and they get less time with the wellness counselor, which is so similar to bullbait, TRs, all of that kind of nonsense.
Totally. Yeah, no reaction.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to you can't, and when you're in the Sea Org, you can't react to stuff. There's so much craziness going. I think they knew there was going to be a level of nonsense that would be unprecedented. And they basically, we have to numb these people to the amount of nonsense that because there's the craziest things happen. And you're just like, you're gonna go to lunch, are we gonna go to lunch? Are we not gonna go to lunch because this happened? Or can we still go to lunch? Like, who cares? You guys just got in a fight and one of you broke your arm. Can we go to lunch now? Like, whatever. Just like, oh, did you hear Tom chopped his finger off the table saw? What? Anyway, you wanna get some chips? What do you want? You gonna catch the bus? It's almost 12:30.
We laugh, but it's awful too. It has occurred to me in retrospect that the ideal Sea Org member is an android, like devoid of all emotions, devoid of everything, devoid of any personal commitments, any, personal relationships. You don't have friends, you don't have partners, none of that. The best is just be completely isolated and completely focused on the protocols of Kier Egan, aka L. Ron Hubbard.
Well, I was going to say the other thing is, if you do have like thoughts about something else outside of Scientology, like if you have a genuine like, oh, I think I want to do this or I want to do that, that is literally a point that a piece of leverage that they can then use against you, because it's not okay to be thinking that. So if you voice interest or you say like, oh, I always wanted to get a jet ski, or I always wanted to do this, they'd be like, oh, okay, so you're like, what do they call it?
Off purpose. Other fish to fry.
WOG. No, not first dynamic oriented. Like, you see, it's all about me. So that's the first dynamic in Scientology of the 8 dynamics. If you want to do something for you, then that's first dynamic oriented. Or they had another one. It was called PTS to the middle class. Like, you want a house, you want kids, you want a dog,
you want a nice car,
cat, you want a nice car. Then you were PTS to the middle class, and that was a potential trouble source. So the middle class was your suppressive person, and you're a potential trouble source because you want to be like that. You want to have things.
Yeah, you're being influenced. You're being unduly influenced by the outside world rather than focusing completely on policy and getting up the bridge and bringing new people into Scientology and doing all the things that a good Scientologist does.
Basically, you're off purpose, or you're not dedicated to the cause. Like you have, like you said, other fish to fry. That's all.
Panty waist dilettante.
Oh, chasing butterflies. Holy moly.
Turn that wandering gaze into a dedicated glare.
Yeah, see, commit to memory the bullshit of the founder.
Okay, so listen, we know it's spooky when we start saying the same words at the same time, but that is the world of Scientology.
100%.
Absolutely how we know it's a cult.
Okay, so I think we do some comments and then we do a giveaway.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, because and if you guys like this, I love Severance. If you want us to do a part 2, tell him.
I got to put it in the comments. Don't tell me. Put it in the comments. That's how you tell me. Claire would so love.
I mean, I have like 5 more pages of notes to talk about here that are, some of them are really important. We every week we just want to do whatever videos we want to do. We don't really care what's going on. There's always something going on, and if you want to do that, you want to know about that, go to Tony Ortega's blog and you'll see what's going on. If it's something that involves us, like, this is a good point. If it's something that involves us or we know about, we'll probably do a video on it. If it's weird for me to do a video on something that I don't know, I'm not part of, I don't know about it. So I try to do videos about Scientology, about the stuff I know. And I know about all this stuff. And when I saw this show, which I also watched, so I know about that, I go, they're 100%. We'll talk about this. And so when we were trying to think, Claire's like, oh, we could do a video about this. And I was like, I don't know anything about that. I won't be able to talk about it. I said, what if we do one about Severance? And she's like, yes. Oh my God, I'm part of a group and we talk about everything and how it's Scientology. I was like, oh my goodness. I'm even in the middle of rewatching season 1 to like, you know, expand on my notes, and I'm more than halfway through, but still, like, there's a lot of things, a lot of parallels. And like I said, we didn't really organize these in terms of sequence of importance, because frankly, I don't think you can really necessarily evaluate like what might seem impactful or a huge parallel to me might be different to someone who was never in Scientology but has incredible knowledge about like the number of people that we know that were never in Scientology but now understand the language, the mechanisms, the control, the leverage. All of that is fascinating.
Yeah, I'm just putting up some of the people that I guess there's a lot of people in here.
Oh,
that say
okay.
They want to do
Part 2.
Yeah.
Yay.
But Mark does videos about OT3. Yeah, because I done read it. So I know about it. I didn't do it in Scientology.
And anyway,
I might as well have now. I'm Xenu's homeboy. If somebody knows how to track down BTs, it's me, because I know the guy who'd been done making them. Okay.
Yeah. And so yes, he didn't do OT3, but I did. So it kind of makes it funny for us to have some banter back and forth about this. And plus, let's just call a spade a spade. Hi, Osa.
Yeah. I've said this before. If you're new to the channel or you are like trying to catch up, if we talk about Xenu and we talk about OT3, we talk about body thetans, it limits the amount of Scientology people that are allowed to watch our channel, which makes more of them watch our channel. Because in Scientology, if you're not allowed to do something, you're going to get to doing it. Okay. The other thing is that you have to, they basically have to have a Scientologist who is of that level or above to be able to deal with us, because they'd have to watch our videos or they have to be in the comments, or, you know, I bet you they'd even make them, you got to do this, but you can't turn the audio on. Like that would be something an OSA person would say. Like, I need you to watch this guy's video today, but I need you to not have the audio on, which I don't even know what the purpose of watching the video would be. Oh, if you want to stir up trouble in the comments, I guess.
Yeah. Or see who's in the chat.
Oh, that's true. Or
whatever.
Yeah. Hey, also fair warning. Okay. There's a lot of Scientology. You know, if you do like the videos and you're not in Scientology, hit subscribe, because we have a lot of Scientologists that watch and they're so paranoid that they won't even subscribe. It's a real thing. Every person that I've talked to that's in Scientology that has contacted me and said, hey, I watched the channel, one of the things I always ask them, not the first thing, but I go, hey, by the way, did you subscribe to the channel? Like, no, dude, I don't want us to know about I'm just like, come on, Scientology. You're jacking with you're messing up the algorithm, really, if you think about it.
Yep.
Which is not okay. It's not cool.
Not cool.
Okay.
Don't be like that.
Do you want to do some more here?
Yes.
Oh, here's another one. They're going too fast. I'm going back over to the start.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Sorry. Here we go.
All right, Trevanon. Hi, Osa. If you want to leave, reach out to the Aftermath Foundation. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. And we will, by the way, Mark doesn't know this yet, but coming up in the next few weeks, we will do a dedicated show just to Foundation news. So there you go.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Bear's Mom, we appreciate you taking the time to, Trevanon. That is hilarious. Doing grades while watching Mark's video. Okay, cool.
That's what Catherine said.
Oh, Matt Denny, question. Why do the whole divorce thing? What do they gain from it? A sense of control? Yes, absolutely. 100%. It's a sense of control. In fact, they want members isolated and with no, they just want complete control over them. So for example, Mark and I were being pressured I was being pressured to divorce Mark.
They knew I would never divorce
the entire 13 years that we were there. Over the years, like multiple times.
Yeah, they knew I would never divorce Claire.
I mean,
they were trying to pressure her to divorce me, and I would give her shit about it all the time. You gonna divorce me? God
and I'd be like, why are you saying that? He's like, well, and you would never say, well, I know that you're being pressured to divorce me.
Yeah.
You would never say that, but it would always give me this feeling like, oh my God, how does he know? Why is he asking me this? But I could never ask him. We could never have a conversation about that, because that would be then the next time either of us were interrogated, it would just make it a whole lot worse. So yes. Catherine, grade 2 is overts and withholds. Yes, exactly. Catherine Olson, I got through grade 2 while I was watching your videos, Mark.
That's
just
what
epic.
that's what Pete
I
was
see.
talking about.
Okay, that is amazing.
I'm sorry. I put up his comment having read the other comments,
I
but
see.
nobody else did. So sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. Miss Amber Sunshine, that never makes sense to me because you're supposed to be well rested, fed. Oh my gosh, I think there was a third thing, but I don't remember now. Yeah, well fed, well rested for the metabolism.
No,
check.
we were talking about for study even.
Oh yeah.
And so,
Okay.
but you would never.
No alcohol.
Yeah.
That was another.
Yeah.
The student on the student's
No
guide.
drugs or alcohol.
Right, and that's another Severance. All the protocols. The protocol.
Well rested. Are you well fed?
Yes.
Are you well rested?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. This is getting silly now.
The student's guide to acceptable behavior was one code that you had to commit to mind to memory. Then the code of a Sea Org member, the code of an auditor, whatever. We could go on and on. Oh, Daniel Sander, glad to be catching a BFG live again. Greetings from Denmark. Good to see you, Daniel. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for the super chat. Marc and Claire, it's so good to see you two, Lost Boys and Golden Girls. The ex-Scientology space has become so toxic with drama. You two are such a breath of fresh air. You know what? There's always been
I know. I was just going to
waves
say.
of toxicity.
It doesn't matter where this topic has gone. It doesn't matter. There's always drama, guys. Humans are tribal, and humans are drama. But also, they love drama. People love drama. That's everything that's on TV. Soap operas, your
true crime,
Chicago PD, it's all drama. It's just all drama that you don't have in your life. And you see it over there and you go, what are these folks up to? Yeah. And then some people want to get involved. Some people want to be the ones who make the drama. Everybody has their part to play. And when it was on, there was a website called Operation Clambake, and they had a message board. It was called OCMB, Operation Clambake Message Board. And I will tell you, you have ex-Sea Org members, ex-Scientologists, critics, journalists, and OSA operatives, like public Scientologists that work for OSA. They're all in there together, and you every day you'd be like, what's up today? And you'd go in there and you'd be like, oh shit, so-and-so did what? And it was just drama. And then it was on Facebook, and then it was why we protest, and then it was the ex-Scientology message board, and then it was YouTube, and then it was the real world. And it's so does it wherever I don't think that's a Scientology thing. I think that's just a human thing.
No, I just think that
and Scientology loves to stir it up.
Correct. That's the thing.
That is the difference.
They want to distract us from our goal.
Yeah.
Our goal is simply to expose a destructive cult. And if somebody wants to get out, then help them get out. That's it, really.
And the best way that we have found to do that is to tell these stories, because there's another Scientologist who's watching, and they have a story that's just like our story. And the things that we're talking about, we're not making shit up. We're telling you what happened at the highest levels of Scientology management. And if you go like, that's the boss. That's David Miscavige is the one doing all this nuttiness. And this is an everyday thing with this guy. And then people that think, that believe the narrative that Scientology is telling them. And then what we're telling them, they know because they're seeing some of these things, or they're just seeing the edges, or they've heard a story, or they know somebody that was in the Sea Org and this happened too. So when we do this, they know. They're like, oh yeah, those guys are telling the real deal. So that's why we don't. It's not that I don't care about some of these other people or some of the other stuff that's going on. But it's just like, I was there for 15 years. I know that the nonsense that happens online is 100th of the nonsense that happened in the Sea Org. So I am numb to it. They're in the Sea Org. Everyone is there. There's a group of people that are the backstabbers, and there's a group of people that are the 9-to-5ers, or the 8 to 12ers,
or the wallflowers, as some would
whatever,
call them.
the 8 a.m.
They just like
They're just
blend into the background.
they're
to just-
NPCs.
to just-
If you know what that is, it's in the game. It's just the people that are programmed to do the thing they do, and that's all they do. They have NPCs in the Sea Org. Anyway, and also there is a sort of snobbery in the Sea Org of where you worked. If you worked in a lower org, you were a Sea Org member in a lower org, like an organization in the middle of nowhere in the United States or in just some far-flung country, then you were the lowest form of Sea Org member. And then if you worked in an advanced organization, you were the next level of Sea Org member. And then it went like that. And if you were at Golden Era Productions, you were higher than 90% of everybody else. But at the place you worked at, you were in the lower 1%. So even if you were at the international base, you were anywhere you went in the Sea Org, they had to call you sir. But at the property, you were the deputy D-weeder. So it wasn't like when you were there, you weren't shit. But if you went somewhere else, you were the bomb. So if you were in Religious Technology Center, like Sweetness over here, then you were like, I mean, she said,
come on now.
That's how we had a TV, boy. That's how I got, that's how I hooked up that TV. I got some of that RTC whiff, just a little whiff RTC. So even if somebody went into our room and there was a TV in there, you ain't taking a TV out of an RTC staff member, Sea Org member's room. You get your ass chewed if you did that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a reality.
That is true.
Anyway, so thank you, whoever that was,
Yep.
who said that. Lost Boys and Golden Girls. Thank you for the super chat as well. Okay.
So we'll do a few more and then we'll do our giveaway because we're out of time.
We're
Betsy,
out of time.
dude, just call me
Out of
Betsy. Hi,
time.
Betsy. Good to see you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I'm just going to put up a few more.
Okay. Coffee Milk Dude, the parallels to the Sea Org, Outie, and Innie. It's uncanny. 100%. Yep. Absolutely. Yes, looking forward to more BFG content. Awesome. Yes. Coffee first, always. 100%. Oh man, can't wait to hear this replay. Unfortunately, okay then.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Can't read that fast, honey. Wow, you're like,
This is coffee,
dippy.
man. Like,
He's like, coffee. All right. Oh man, can't wait to hear this replay. Unfortunately, this live is 5 a.m. in Australia. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. The protest scene, and then believing they're down there for a worthy cause. Then the recorded confessional from the break room, which sounds like, quote, how you pull in everything bad that happens to you. 100%. Yeah.
You should make that.
Layer.
We'll make a note of that one for the next one because there's a whole nother thing that is very parallel to that.
Yeah. Especially many more in season 2. I can see Mark bullshitting the meter. Yes, exactly. Glenda Stevenson. Good to see you, Glenda. Yep.
That's right. Hey there.
Did people get promoted from gold to higher orgs? Yes, that's what happened in my case. I worked at Golden Era Productions from 91 until 96. And then I was moved up to Religious Technology Center. And it's kind of weird even there, like, once you're being considered for a higher organization, you cannot say no. That would be.
That's right.
Yeah,
you can't refuse a promotion in the Sea organization.
No,
it's basically like if you refuse a promotion, you will be demoted. That's pretty much how it goes. You're either going to go up or you're going to go down.
That's right. That's why I one time described Scientology like a skyscraper. You just, the further up you go, the harder it is to get out because there's no way out. You just go deeper and deeper, or like a spider web.
There's no elevator down. You got to jump out a window.
Yeah, the more you wriggle, the worse off you're going to be. Right there, you go. Bruce Hines, hi you guys. Hey Bruce, thanks for joining us.
Hey Bruce.
Local JUCO, best story ever. Glad you dropped the song name.
Oh yes, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know that I really had a hack. I didn't have that kind of a hack.
Oh yeah, somebody was asking, "What's Claire's hack?" Claire's hack?
I don't know. Think happy thoughts. I guess that was my own version of it. I just didn't have such a great thing to fall back on. But yeah, there you go.
Okay, this is the last one.
Lupita, Helly is a redhead. Yes, Helly R. I love Helly. She's a rebel.
Okay, so we're gonna put this up and we're gonna do this. I've got a giveaway link. Let's see if it works. Oh, it's been up the whole time. Oh no, it's right here. Let's see if it worked.
Okay. Hashtag Innie.
Oh yeah, we had
for
58
giveaway.
people entered. Cool. We'll do that.
Awesome.
That's
Yay.
good enough. Okay, here we go. We're gonna draw.
It was nice to just change topic for a little bit. It was kind of funny to review the parallels of Severance to Scientology. It makes it a little less heavy than some of the other things we've talked about.
Yeah, Bear's mom. I think Bear's mom has won before.
You always say that. You say that whenever
has.
anyone wins.
I know.
Bear's mom, here's your spiel. Send me an email, claire@blownforgood.com, with a link to what you would like from the BFG merch store or the spshop.com, and we will get you taken care of. Thanks for watching.
And you know what? A lot of times when I say Bear's mom or somebody won, they do say in the comments that they have won.
Okay. Not always, though.
I think so.
I think the one that really stands out in my mind was Purple Groovy 69.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Bear's mom. There we go. Yay. See, it's fun doing this.
Oh yeah, look at this.
Hi from a poet, Brian Lucas. I love your morning videos. Awesome, Terry Ray. Hello, everybody. Oh, there's Salty Beach Girl Lori. Lupita, congrats, Bear's mom. There we go. I don't know why I enter. I always give it back. Yeah, there's a lot of people that do that pay it forward, and we really like that too. Yeah. Not that you have to. That we do it to give stuff away just for fun, you know. Okay.
Oh, look, Catherine's got something to say.
At Glenda Stevenson, the ones who do the drama do it for the money. There you go.
Okay, well, maybe. I don't know how much money there is.
Maybe not always.
We do it for the fun, and there's not that much money in it.
Speaking of which, I'm going to take this moment to show what we have added. Look.
Yeah. Oh, we got to put it up. This is a check that we got from Scientology. It's actually from Ken Moxon. And Kenneth Moxon from, is it Bowles and Moxon? Is that the name of the company?
Moxon and Coburn Trust
Moxon
Account.
and Coburn.
This is a check made out to Claire Headley from April 1st, 2009 for $45, memo, witness fee.
Yeah.
Which we refused to cash. Mark has one too.
Yeah, mine's up here somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it's back there.
The point being, we do not subscribe to doing it for money. That's the point.
Look who's here.
Scientology peeling the onion. Mark here. Hi, Marc and Claire. Awesome. Good to see you here.
Hey, Mark. How's it going? We got to do. We were doing videos together a long time ago when I was doing them during the week and doing stuff. But now that we're only doing kind of one video. But we'll have to get back into doing that when I'm not in the middle of doing everything else.
Love Food Kitchen says, I love how Mark calls him Ken when he hates that.
Yeah. His name is Kenneth Moxon. I think that's his name.
Kendrick.
Right? Kendrick. Is it Kendrick?
It doesn't actually say.
Oh my goodness. She's breaking the place. It just says Moxon and Coburn Trust Account. Anyway, while Claire's wrecking everything here, I'll take off the camera off her so we don't have to see what she's doing.
Oh my goodness. That was a disaster. That was exciting.
I always knew him as Ken Moxon, and I didn't know that he didn't like that. But that's what Dave always called him. And I think Dave called him that because he didn't like that. I just knew that was his name. Kendrick.
And Harvey said he also goes by Rick, which I think he does. He has at various points.
Yes. Doesn't he go by Rick?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the thing. Yes, Cash and Olsen, you're right. It's too many people. Now the chat's.
Which is awesome.
Look.
Great input, folks. Thank you. He goes by Rick. There you go.
So Rick Moxon. So
not to be confused with the D version.
It's so funny that I only call him Ken Moxon and his name is Kendrick and he hates Ken.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kenny Boy. We should do a whole video about that dude and his daughter, but
oh my gosh. Yeah, actually anyway. I was thinking that we should because the anniversary is coming up in June.
Yeah, I don't know, we'll see.
That's heavy.
Okay, I think we did it, folks. We went a little over, but we had a good time. We had fun.
Yeah.
If you guys want to get notified when we're going to do a live, then if you hit the subscribe button and then also enter the bell, hit the bell
notification,
then it'll let you know when we're going to do a live. We are going to try. We're going to try to get up to 40,000 subscribers. And we used to do a thing when we first kind of, I I got a notification from YouTube that our channel is 17 years old
Yay.
because I started it that long ago.
Yeah, we just never did anything.
And I just
on it for a
used it
long
as a
time.
place to put videos that I had like if I wanted to send somebody a video, I was like, oh, I think you should put this up. And they're like, I don't want to put it up. I'd be like, okay, fine. I'll put it up on my YouTube site. And I
Mhm.
would put stupid stuff up there, like the list of all the Scientology hate sites or
Yep.
the domains that are based on David Miscavige or whatever. Anyway, and now when we started doing these like kind of weekly videos, we've been building up subscribers, and we're up to like 30. I think we just got over like 37,000.
Mhm.
So we do want to try to get up to 40,000 subscribers. I think that's not a lot.
Yep.
If so, it's not that big of a deal. It's not the end of the world, but you know, we might get another $13 a month if we had a few more subscribers. And you know, we're not doing this for our health. Okay, we're doing it because the more people that want to see it will do it. And we don't have. I mean, we've been talking about this for 20 years. We've been
Yeah.
on like TV shows and in movies and
Yeah, but also I really like what you brought up where you were watching somebody and you just talked about building a legacy of kind of documenting our lives, especially for our kids' sake, so they know who we are, because, you know, God only knows if you Google our names, you come across the OSA hate websites. So why not be able to tell our story in our words and have that be there in perpetuity?
yeah. Yeah. And the other thing is we probably have more subscribers than there are Scientologists right now.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we know there's more people watching us that are in Scientology that are actually like going to course and doing counseling and giving them money. And there's not more than 30,000 now. So
Yep.
it's fun for us to be able to say we have more people. But if we had a lot more, that'd be even more fun. But it's all good. We did it. We did another stream. You can also listen to these on any podcast platform. We have every single episode that we've done besides a few Q&As, which we're making available every week. We add another Q&A that we've done in the past to the podcast if you're only listening to this on a podcast and you don't watch this on YouTube. And so if you do like podcasts, you can subscribe to the podcast as well. And it just downloads to your little podcast app every week. You don't have to really do anything. Awesome. I think we're good. Oh, we have one last super sticker.
Okay.
Which it's not letting me put up. So I'm not sure what to do with
Love
that. Unless I'm
at
already
an extra $13. Hopefully that will be going straight towards your next IAS statue, Platinum Depeche Modatorious.
Somebody put stamp push for the birthday game.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, yeah, lots of people there. Betsy Sue, I put that up. I don't know. I don't know how I can't put this. I can't.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's all
Betsy
good.
Sue, I've been trying to put up your thing, but it's just shows me there, but it won't let me put it up. So I hope I already put it up. Anyway, thanks guys. We will see you next week. And yeah.
I won't see you next week, but
I
Mark
will. Until next time. Bye guys.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to help support the channel, feel free to check out the merch store link in the description. We have Hail Xenu, Xenu is my homeboy, and BFG branded mouse pads, shirts, mugs, all sorts of other stuff in there that helps us to bring you new content on a regular basis. You can also pick up a copy of my book, Blown for Good, Behind the Iron Curtain of Scientology, in hardback, Kindle, and Audible versions as well. There's also a link to our podcast, and you can get that on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to watch another video, you can click on this link right here, or you can click on this one here, or you can click on the subscribe button right here. Thanks a lot. Until next time.